Denny Blanco, my man, how you doing?
Your dreams have now been fulfilled. You're rocking with the best. It's your boy, Denny Blanco, alongside Randy J. Cruz. It's In the Game podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Find Denny Blanco on IG and Twitter at Sir Denny Blanco. Find myself, Randy J. Cruz, RENDY, the letter J, CRUZ on both IG and Twitter. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music and YouTube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Go ahead, download, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for the program. Denny Blanco, this is Wednesday, May 24th. So a couple things to discuss, and we'll get to each individually. But we do have a Game 5 coming up with Miami and the Boston Celtics. They won last night. It's now 3-1, heading back to Boston. We have the Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history after sweeping the LA Lakers. LeBron is mulling over retirement. We saw Carmelo announce his retirement 2 days ago. There's been a lot of talk about whether his jersey should be retired in New York or Denver. The Phoenix Suns are in the process of looking for a new coach. So it's quite a few things, but let's start here. So Denver did indeed sweep the Lakers. They're going to the finals. I think we both had Denver winning that series. Even though I said maybe Lakers and Boston. Gentleman sweep.
Your end.
As time progressed, you could see that Denver was the better team, and congrats to them. So, but now the big story is LeBron and his future, what it could be, whether it's with the Lakers or just in the entirety of his career, whether he's mulling over retirement. That was a big ordeal right after the game. So it kind of took the shine away from Denver sweeping LA and going to the finals, and now the focus is on LeBron and what he plans to do for his future. If you ask me, I don't think he's retiring. I think it's as like social media said, it's a way to kind of like shake off the fact that it was a sweep or that you lost in the conference finals, and now that's the focus. Where the next couple of months it's going to be about what's LeBron going to do going forward. I think he'll be back next year. I think he has 2 years on the contract. The story was, he wants to play at least 1 year, whether his son is on the same team or his son is in the NBA in general. But now we don't know. So what is your take on, one, Denver sweeping LA, and two, we are now in the realm of not knowing if LeBron is going to officially be back next season?
You said a lot. Lakers fans, I'm sorry. Name of the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. You're now fishing. You're now gone fishing. It's vacation time. Mm-hmm. Denver was a better team. It is what it is. In terms of LeBron James, it's cute. This sounds cute when he's like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Let's think about it. Betting. If you're a betting person, are you going to bet that LeBron is going to leave before his son gets into the league?
No.
Even though literally he said that verbatim out of his mouth, like, yeah, I'd love to play with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it sounds cute when he's like, I may retire. I
don't know right now.
I don't know. Not too many 38-year-olds averaging close to a triple double with 27, 10 maybe, and 7. It's not too many 38-year-olds averaging a triple double. So, with that being said, do I see him retiring? No. Yes, 2 or 3 years, easy, and
2 more years, 2 to 3 more years.
He has 2 to 3 more years, easy at playing at a high level. And Bronny needs just to play 1 year well.
Yeah.
To get into the league. So, I mean, mind you, say he wants to play, I don't know if playing on the same team. Right. Like I said, he wants to do a Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr., for those that know. I think that's the only time that I can remember where a father and son played on the same team. Literally.
And how that happened, we don't know. Like, I think Bronny would get drafted. I don't know what the Lakers have going forward, as far as picks and first round, second round, or let's say just to if he goes undrafted, they sign him. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's what's going to be interesting where he lands.
I think playing 1 year with his son in the league, I think that's like the goal. I would say you want to play with him, but if you would say, hey man, I play against you 4 times a year or twice a year, that's good for me. After that, I can be out.
That's it. It's going to be a swan song. I mean, you mentioned you mentioned a lot of things. You mentioned Melo, retiring the previous show. You need the swan song. You need the hand in the air. Bye bye every gym.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. LeBron's not doing this without putting it out. This will be my last year and get that whole like the Kobe last dance, every single arena. LeBron's making sure that's happening for him. I'm sorry. He ain't doing it. Oh, I lost to Denver. I'm out. No,
he needs it.
Well, he deserves it. You better believe he's going to every fucking arena. But I'm out.
Toasty, yeah. So the Lakers have some decisions to make. That roster is going to look interesting next year. So the trades that they made and the argument can be made, Lakers fans.
Yeah.
Holla at me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Let me know. The trades that were done got them into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But the trades that were done couldn't get them far in the playoffs. Does that make sense? Like the trades got them into the play. Like they wouldn't have made the playoffs if they didn't do those specific trades. You get your Beasley, you get your Russell, you get your Vanderbilt. But then come playoff time, name any of those players over the playoff series that they've played in, the 3 or 4 series Lakers played in, that they made a difference. Any of those players, Beasley, Russell, I'm talking about major difference. Like, they were the key. Yeah. Like, Austin Reeves was the key in every series.
Yeah, so now they got to figure out what they're going to do with Austin Reeves, of keeping him, or how much money they're going to throw at him. They got to figure out what they're going to do with the point guard, either keep D'Lo or go and try to get Kyrie, which is that's the next domino.
Or Ice Tray.
But you have to trade for Ice Tray and give up a few pieces. But I think Kyrie can happen, but I think the structure is not like a Trae Young deal, because Trae Young still has money.
It's more difficult. It's more
years on the contract. Kyrie's a free agent.
Yeah, and it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Like, we're not looking for him, and this, that, and the third. Next thing you know, he may have yellow on. It makes perfect sense in my eyes, anyway.
Because now, if you bring Kyrie on board, that kind of extends LeBron's career just a little bit. Because now the focus not, I don't need you to get 40 and 10 at age 38, 39 in the Western Conference Finals anymore. If you get another scorer that could take the load off you guys, I don't know if it's the need for right now, but it's like, if I can get Kyrie, if I got to give up Hachimura or somebody that I know they don't want to do, it's like, you got to figure it out. Keep the team you have, build off of that, or you go for the big name at the point guard, but someone who could be dynamic and that can take the scoring load off of AD and LeBron.
Let me tell you something. If you look at the last couple of champions, people that have won, the teams that have won championships, they're fully loaded when it comes to scoring. They're fully loaded. You got to have guys who can score. So when I say the Lakers in the bubble, AD, LeBron, KCP, I think they still had, if I'm not mistaken, they still had Kuzma on that team. Am I bugging?
Mm-hmm.
They just had scorers, and they were long and they could defend. You take away your scoring and your defense. So after LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and AD, who's supposed to give you points?
Hachimura.
There you go. So you just brought on Hachi. So you bring Hachi on. After that, who else is supposed to give you points? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Lonnie still sitting there that was giving people work in San Antonio. So it's not like he doesn't have the resume.
And they need shooters too. They need some outside 3-point, like a Miami type vibe. I need 4 or 5 people that can spread the floor And if you're gonna double like we've been saying, Jimmy or Bam, I got Gabe, I got Duncan, I got Hero. Like the Lakers need those kind of outside of Austin Reeves, they need another knockdown or two.
Yeah, 100% because AD's passing to the D-Lo, Brick, Vanderbilt, Brick. Who else? It's just he was kicking it out. And if LeBron was covered or Reeves was covered, there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do.
So LeBron's mulling over retirement. I don't think he will. So let's see what happens during the summertime. Again, big ups to Denver. First time in the NBA Finals. Could be interesting. Again, either Boston or Miami's going to meet them.
Shout out to JJ Redick. Sorry, shout out to JJ Redick who thinks that we don't know that Joker is one of the best players in the league. We know.
And I think the fact that it makes it, if you rewind the tape, they go to the conference finals in the bubble. They lose to LA. I think they get the second, if I'm not mistaken, the second seed. No, 2021. Okay, no. Last year they were the sixth seed.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Warriors in round one.
This is what team we're talking about?
Denver.
Correct.
2021. I forgot who they lost to. I know they went to playoffs. I forgot who they lost to.
Okay.
But now, in between that, Murray was hurt.
Correct.
Michael Porter was hurt.
Correct.
Now you're having, and then now you're getting a fully polished Aaron Gordon. And then you bring in the KCPs and those guys. Now you got a full roster. Everybody's healthy. And like Jokic getting triple doubles and Murray's getting 30 and Michael Porter getting 20 and knocking down shots. Like this has been the most complete Denver Nuggets team that we've seen. And this is why they're going to the finals. Now, could they win? Of course they can win. I think when you quote unquote have the best player in the NBA and Jokic, a 2-time MVP and everything, and like, could they be the favorite of Miami? Sure. Could it be the favorite of Boston? Sure. But listen, it's a new day. We've seen LA, we've seen these San Antonios, we've seen the Warriors the last couple of years in the finals. Like, all right, now we're knocking on the door of maybe a new potential powerhouse in the Western Conference.
Oh, it's definitely a powerhouse. He's talking about their prime players.
Yeah,
their prime players in their prime. Joker, Murray, MJ, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. I think there's the difference between 28 and 24. Mm-hmm. 28 years old and 24 years old. In terms of all those players, you have to understand also with Denver, everybody's playing their position they're supposed to play. Jamal Murray handles the rock. No one else does that.
Right.
AG, Aaron Gordon, we don't put you in ISOs. You're not an ISO player. You either hit standalone threes, which he hit a couple that they left him open for. They was like, oh, Aaron, you can hit those. Oh, he hit them. Damn. Because he doesn't shoot threes, but they left him open and he started hitting them. Then you have Michael Porter Jr. Hey, just shoot threes. You get somebody small on you, go to the hole. Other than that, you shoot threes. Defend. And then the facilitator is Joker. He's going to facilitate. He's going to rebound. He's going to make sure people are in particular spaces. He's going to, and I thought about this too. I said, he is Luka Doncic, but taller and bigger and slower.
Like the bigger center version of Luka.
He does everything Luka does, but from the center position. Literally. 30, 14, and 14. Those are Luka numbers. Those are LeBron numbers. We call them LeBron numbers.
Yo,
those
did you notice that too? Every round of the playoffs this year, first round, semis, conference finals, your man averaged a triple-double every single round.
Come on, yo. Come on. But I understand why. I understand why. If you watch Denver's offense and you're a fan of basketball, it's beautiful. It's beautiful basketball. The counters, there was one play that I kept two plays I was going over on the breakdowns. Two plays. One play, it's Joker at the key, top of the key, 3-point line. He catches it. You have Jamal Murray in the paint. being guarded by D'Lo, I believe.
Okay.
And then you have Aaron Gordon, mismatch, being guarded by Dennis Schroeder. Why? So mind you, Murray's in the paint. Joker's at the 3-point line in the middle of the court, has the ball. He's being defended by AD. Aaron Gordon it looks like he's going to go down and set a screen for Jamal to come off of it. But fakes the screen and dives. Joker, pinpoint pass, right to him, dunk, and one. Then you have Joker, look up, he has the ball, same position, top of the key. It's 5 seconds left.
Yeah.
He has AD on him.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I've seen guards panic. Guards being guarded by other guards panic. Like, he looked up, was like, oh, I got 5 seconds. He's slow. So I'm moving as slow as he is. He spins right. I'm like, why are you spinning away from the rim? He spins right to get it into his left hand. AD's on him. I'm like, where's he going left? Because it's like 3 seconds left. He takes a step back. I said, where are you going?
Off one leg.
I said, where are you? I said,
like Dirk.
I said, Joker, where are you going? He takes a step back and then puts the ball behind his back, like behind his head like this.
Like Bird.
AD is on him. AD's like this.
Yeah.
Wet. I said, all right. I said, all right.
Bro, when that happens, you just kind of like...
AD said, I'm out of here.
There's nothing I could do, bro. I'm sorry. There's nothing.
Come on. Come on, bro.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else for me to do.
I'd have taken it off my shirt. I'd have been like, all
right. All right, man. You got it.
Yeah. I'd have taken it off my jersey. Be like, yeah, you got it. Yo, this guy right here? This guy right here? Folks asking LeBron, are you surprised by...
No, Joker's been proven the last couple of years. He's
2-time MVP.
MVP, All-Star.
Come on, bro.
I've been to the conference finals before. I've been to the playoffs before.
And you know what's interesting the last 2 years that I've seen him do? Obviously, we've seen him progress. I think I haven't seen this much of an improvement over a career span. Shout out to Steph, Giannis, Joker. I'm talking about from when they got into the league up until now, the improvement on their game. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Joker couldn't shoot threes when he got into the league. The Joker couldn't post. The Joker couldn't pass. The Joker couldn't dribble. This year, I think this year and last is literally, I'm seeing now it's part of the game now. Joker rebound. I'm point guard. Move. Last 2 years, you didn't see that. He would catch it, throw it to Jamal, and then he would run. Now, Jamal's like, oh, he pushing. We out.
Right. You got it.
You got it. Michael Porter Jr. is like, oh, he pushing. We out. I'm like, look at this. He's like, I'm running point now. Move. Like you see Shaq do it one time with Kobe a couple times. You was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like he did like 2 or 3 times, and it's still in highlights.
Yeah, and the crowd, like, yo, give it up. Give it up.
Yeah. You see Shaq literally pushing it, and then he does this to Kobe, and Kobe does a windmill dunk. You see that once or twice with Shaq. Imagine if he did that all the time, or Olajuwon. Joker's doing that right now. You know, it's great watching it. I can't wait to see the next series, but I have Denver winning.
So to your point real quick earlier about age, Michael Porter 24, Jamal Murray 26, and Jokic 28. So this is like you're getting to the prime. You're not even at the prime, maybe. They're still like, all right, let's say everybody
scratching the surface.
Everybody remains a Nugget for the rest of their career, right? You can at this level, you're bound to get at least five more years of Denver being a potential powerhouse if everybody remains healthy. And the other point before I go to the final point is it's just amazing how like you go from, we see Jokic now, MVP, All-Star, we get it. and I seen the last couple of days on Twitter how, like, you know, if you go back to the draft, the night he got drafted, it's like, you know, by the time second round comes, it's like me as a fan, we're watching, you know, I seen round one, I'm good. And they kind of speed through round two, like, yo, every 30 seconds in the commercial,
yep.
You're there now.
People.
So you probably seen it, you might not. So when he got drafted, like it was a fucking commercial that was on. It was just, I swear, it was a Taco Bell commercial. His name pops up on the bottom. Nikola Jokic, 41st pick, Serbia. Like, all right, let's speed this shit through. Like, no announcement, no nothing. It's like, oh, and they come back commercial. Hey, so by the way, during commercial, Nikola Jokic, Denver, Serbia. All right, number 42 coming up next. And it's like, wow, that's as time goes on, that's your 2-time MVP and a potential NBA world champion.
No one would have. Like no one would have predicted that. No. The first person I saw Nikola Jokic play, they would have never predicted this. No, he's a 2-time MVP. Like, maybe you see Luka.
And was in the running for back-to-back-to-back MVP, by the way. That guy.
After further review?
Yeah. You're saying Jokic should have won MVP now.
Hey.
I mean, listen, it's a regular season award. Now don't see what you see in the playoffs to be like, nah, he should have got it.
Hey, man.
It's tough. It's a toss-up.
Hey, listen, guys, it don't matter. He's about to win he's about to win with the triple-double. He's about to win NBA Finals MVP.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters to me.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
My last point before we get out of here. So again, we mentioned Carmelo retiring after 19 years in the NBA. Yeah. Great career, amazing career. I've seen all the love on social media from the Knicks, Denver, all the NBA outlets to show him love, and well deserved.
Consummate professional.
A great ball player, but even a great dude off the court. I think that needs to be mentioned more often.
Very much.
But you get into now the basketball conversation. Like, we know he's gonna be a Hall of Famer. That's not even a question. We know he's top 75 all time, not even debatable. But now the barbershop talk is, should Melo's number be retired? And the fact that whether you do it in Denver, you do it in New York, currently Jokic wears number 15. Some say that he shouldn't have been wearing 15 from the jump. That should have been Melo's number to be retired in the rafters when that time comes, or you go into the Garden and you retire number 7. So what do you feel about that? Like, shouldn't his number be retired? And if so, Denver or New York or both? He get one.
His number is not going to be retired in Denver. His number should be retired in New York, and this is why. Number 7. You mentioned one reason. Joker's already wearing 15. So if we consider the future, I think Joker's about to be a Hall of Famer. So, all right, you can have that 15 for Denver. You heard?
Mm-hmm.
Carmelo coming to the Knicks when no one wanted to. Carmelo carrying the Knicks when no one wanted to. Carmelo being on teams with no other talent. Carmelo not complaining. Carmelo not crying. Just keeping his head down and balling and being professional. And once again, not complaining what the hands, what the cards have been dealt. We've seen when guys, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, going to Brooklyn, we've seen guys who have been done and said, that's it, I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Melo had at least 2 or 3 years in New York. I think it's 7 altogether, if I'm not mistaken, Randy. You can correct me if I'm wrong. There have been 2 or 3 years where I could imagine Melo saying, I need to go. What about you, Randy? Would you agree with that? Would you say about maybe 1 or 2, at least 1 year in his Knicks tenure, you could understand why if he asked for a trade out after he got there, correct?
True, and plus also to add on to that, the I think the most bizarre stat is that he might have been there 6-7 years, but he also had like 6 coaches.
Thank you. I want to thank you for adding on to
Yeah.
my reasoning of why he should, Carmelo Anthony, have his number 7 jersey retired in New York, based on just those little things that we discussed just now. And we can continue, probably could add a little bit more as we sit back and think. Like, what did Melo go through in those 7 years in New York? How was he supported by the fans? Was he supported by the media? Did they get on him for not being able to take his team past the first round, knowing he didn't have a team? These are all questions where you ask yourself, wow, this guy really just kept his head down, played ball, never got in trouble, never was New York City. You have guys that have J.R. Smith literally telling people on the microphone, like, yeah, New York was too much of a city for me to focus. Thus, I was able to focus more when I got to Cleveland and play with LeBron James.
Yeah, and I think if you ask Knicks fans before we wrap up, if I can get in their head a little bit, some will be like, oh yeah, no doubt, Melo go up there. I'll put the banner up myself. But some will be like, well, cool, but Bernard King's jersey ain't retired.
That's
Sprewell not retired. Allen Houston not retired. John Starks not retired. So
but these. But see, you mentioned Bernard King,
which Randall wears now.
Put Bernard King here, right? I say put him here because you mentioned the other like Latrell and
Spree, Houston, and John Starks are like beloved Knicks.
You say 3, right? But you put Melo in and correct me if I'm wrong. For me, I put Melo in the level of player as Patrick Ewing when it comes to the Knicks. Because if you say who's your favorite Knick, you either get your Patrick or your Walt, depending on who you speak to. Patrick or Walt. Then possibly Bernard King, depending on who you speak to. Now, again, Starks wasn't on the level of Patrick Ewing. Houston wasn't on the level of Patrick Ewing. Sprewell wasn't even the level of Patrick Ewing. They weren't. Melo was. So that's why it's different when it comes to those guys not being. That's why I put Bernard King here, because for me, that's a different conversation versus the other 3 that you mentioned, Sprewell, Starks, guys that are loved. Bernard King is loved, and that's a whole different conversation in itself. But if we're talking about Melo and what we discussed in its entirety, why he came to New York, the reasonings why. He said, I want to go to New York. The fact that he didn't have a supporting cast for about 4 or 5 years. The fact that he was carrying the Knicks. The fact that he went through 6 coaches.
Word.
You have players that can't even perform when a coach is changed, and their performance is affected when a coach change happened. We have players like that. This guy literally went through 6 regimes. We're still going to get 26 and 6-7 from Melo every game for 82 games. Let's not talk about the durability now. Melo was durable. You can rely on Melo. You got guys that hurt, injured. I'm taking today off. You knew what you got from Melo. You knew. And it's unfortunate that he wasn't able to go out with a ring. But time is still here, because many have retired and unretired. Michael Jordan.
And I think
Jay-Z.
Yeah. I think the pecking order of Knicks fans is, who's your favorite Knick? Like you said, Pat Ewing, Walt Clyde, and I think Melo might be the third.
Depending on who you speak to.
People love Starks. People love Sprewell. I love Sprewell. I love Allen Houston, Larry Johnson, all those guys. Oakley, Mason. But I think if you ask Knicks fans from any generation, who's your favorite Knick? Oh, it's Patrick Ewing. Oh, it's Walt Clyde. And then it's Carmelo Anthony, in my opinion. So that's up to the organization to figure out if they're going to retire the number. That's 50-50. I think in Denver, they should have held off 15 for him and give Nikola a different number because you just never know. Give him 14. Like why you gotta give him 15? Give him 14.
It's like, why are you even put it? Listen, man.
I was trying to find this one stat, and now we're gonna end off on this. I saw somewhere it's an account called Knicks Muse.
Knicks Muse, yeah, I follow. Yeah.
So it said the Knicks rotation in Carmelo's last game as a New York Knick. Do you want to hear this roster with Carmelo had to play with?
No, yeah, I do. Prove me right. Give me some more ammo to prove me right. Yes, tell me the roster so I can laugh, please.
So the roster on the Knicks that Carmelo played with in his final game as a Knick, obviously Carmelo. The starting five is this: Carmelo, Ron Baker, Courtney Lee, Maurice Nador, I guess that's how you say his name, and Willie Hernan Gomez. Off the bench, the mighty bench: Chasen Randall, Sasha Vujacic, Mindaugas Kuzminskas, Justin Holiday, Kyle O'Quinn, and Marshall Plumlee.
It's fair to say none of them are in the league right now. And you said that's the last game he played in the New York Knicks uniform?
I think Justin Holiday might be the only guy remaining. Might be.
Justin, maybe. Yeah, but one of the Holiday brothers. Yeah.
Big shout out to Melo. We love you, man. Enjoy, the next venture. I know he's involved with a lot of stuff off the court and a lot of real estate or whatever he's involved with.
And now we're gonna have Cayenne versus,
and then you're gonna have the Cayenne and the Bronny.
Yeah, Cayenne versus Bronny.
Yeah, that's gonna be very, very interesting to keep the legacy going. I love it.
We'll see. Cayenne versus Bronny.
You can find Denny Blanco on IG and Twitter at Sir Denny Blanco. Find myself, Randy J. Cruz, RENDY, letter J C R U Z, on both IG and Twitter. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music, as well as youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Go ahead, download, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also on TikTok at It's in the Game Pod. Also on Retro Room Pod. Go ahead, check it out. For myself, Randy Cruz, Denny Blanco, It's in the Game Podcast. We out.
It's in the game, you heard?
Yes, sir.